What's up, everybody? Hey, I just want to go live here for a little bit. Kind of again playing around with this, fooling around with this new software. Kind of learning the ropes. Gonna give a few seconds and let people join us. Just to give you a quick preview of what we're doing here and see if you even want to hang out or even watch this. We're gonna show footage from the first race that I helped put on in Texas. It wasn't an official race; it was grassroots style. We posted it on the local crawler group there, and we had quite a few people show up. I was surprised. So let's see here. Anthony Garcia, Mr. Elder, thank you for joining us. Bob Cole, Robert Tabor. How you doing, Robert? Haven't heard from you in a minute, dude. Morning coffee, heck yes. I just had mine. Are you, Robert, are you working right now? I know that you're... Mr. Keller, thank you for joining us. William Wallace, Hillrod Films. Get out and check out Hillrod this year, man. They're coming in. They're coming in hot, boy. Heck yeah, getting out on the trail, man. I am envious. That's where I'd rather be. All right. Again, so we're gonna go over some of the footage here. When I edited this, basically, what I did was I went by hill, so they're real quick videos. Um, Thank you, Randy. It's good to see you, man. I missed you in Texas. I would like to. I do want to make it back to Texas this year for sure, especially with all this craziness going on. I feel like it's time to get back down there. All right, so I'm going to start here. This is Hill 1, and one thing I do want to point out, and pretty much the only people that are going to know is going to be the guys from Texas. Um, but we've got we had a loss in the community, and Brian is in this video. I'm very excited to see him as always. So I just wanted to kind of remind those guys from Texas. And good to see Brian again. Thank you, Anthony. This is not a professional a professional job, so I appreciate it. You guys keep me straight. All right. So basically, going over what I was saying before, Anthony let me know that my damn mic was muted. This is it's actually Regal Hill, Anthony, because it's Regal Cinemas, but I think we called it Cinemark because there's Cinemark theaters as well. Thank you, Rob. Let me know what I did, what you did hear and what you didn't hear. I think what I was doing was explaining some of the rules. In Texas, we race twice per hill, which fills up the day with racing. It gets us out there until 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. At the 1-to-1 races with the NRRA, we have to share the hills with the big bouncers. So we're kind of limited with time. So we get a full day of racing, big bouncers and RCs, and the RCs end up being the halftime show, if you will, and it gives the big bouncer drivers a moment to get back to the pits and get fixed, and kind of keeps everyone engaged. Chris, good morning, sir. Yeah, thanks, Rob. Thank you for sure. When we decided to do this, so I had gotten out of the Army in January. I spent, I had a few months of just kind of gathering myself and figuring out what I wanted to do when I grew up. And I was into rock bouncing. Couldn't afford a rock bouncer, so I took it down a few notches and built an RC. I was into it. I was following it and on RC crawler forums and stuff like that. But nobody was doing this. Nobody was doing rock bouncer racing for RCs. So I got hooked up with some gents with the local RC group in San Antonio. Went out with them on a couple of trail rides and met up with Ben Hume. I was told about Ben before I even met him by some of the guys who had said that he was interested in doing a race series like that. So definitely finally got linked up with Ben, and we just started brainstorming, and it all came together. Ben is present at this race. I believe he won this race. I came in 4th, I believe. And this just kind of allowed us to give the basis of rules.
That was awesome.
We knew that we knew it was gonna stay around 1/10 scale, around bomber wraith size. 6-inch tire was the max, because at the time I think the Proline SX stickies, the XL versions, were right around 6 inches. Had to be electric, shaft driven, stuff like that. A lot of the same rules that we run with today. So this race actually drew folks from Houston, which, to just throw something out there and have people drive 3 or 4 hours to come try it, I knew we were onto something. And those guys are still racing with the series a year and a half later. So I knew that we had something. Ben did too, and we jumped in head first, man. We were building hills within a month or two later. We had the first race scheduled a second, guys, because this is not a professional gig. All right. So we've seen. Yeah, Anthony. See, again, Anthony went out and bought a DMG rig. Tell me about that, Anthony. Did you bought that thing like the week before or something? Did you hadn't even run that DMG bomber? A little bit about how we found this hill. I am always looking for hills. So we had gone to the movies at this place, and I noticed that when we pulled in, there was quite a hill, and then in the parking lot there was it looked like it looked out and over, and it was kind of steep. So yeah, Anthony got that DMG bomber the day before the race. No seat time. So we had gone to the movies, and I drove up to the back of the parking lot and took a look down. And basically what it was guys that were fooling around off road had climbed this hill and made these what you're seeing here. Probably from erosion and people driving on them. Made for some decent obstacles for RCs. So I that was it. I started going there. I started running the hills. I used them for testing and tuning. I was building the lowlife buggy at the time. That was supposed to be my race rig. We decided to use that as a place. Now, hindsight, if I had known about McAllister Park, which is also in San Antonio, which is right outside of Ben's door, this is Ben here on Hill 3. If I had known about McAllister Park, then I would have just gone to McAllister Park the first time. Don't get me wrong, I think this was a challenging hill. I like the different terrain. This is a much more hard-packed surface. Really needs a softer suspension and any tire choice because traction is just endless. But McAllister Park has that too, amongst other kinds of soils and terrains. So I'm glad that we did this race, but I'm not upset that we didn't come back here and hold more races because you are kind of limited. McAllister Park is not that far. You can pretty much drive anywhere in San Antonio in 20 or 30 minutes. So McAllister Park is the best place to hold races in the San Antonio area, as far as I'm concerned. So if you're ever able to get down to one of their races, I would definitely. William Wallace, yeah, man. I do that, dude. I drive around and I look for stuff like this, man, and let's see here. Try to get caught up on trying to pay attention to the video and pay attention to you guys too. Mr. Keller, get up and get your butt a cup of coffee, man. With all this craziness with the coronavirus, dude, they're shutting our races down and stuff, and I had been talking about with some close friends, been talking about doing a live stream type feed for nothing but rock bouncing, something where we can hang out together and shoot the breeze, watch some cool videos. I am definitely open to your suggestions, so if there is something that you would like to see, please right, going into hill 1 again, run 2. So the way that they do it now is they will run the same hill back to back. So you do hill 1, and you're going to be doing it again as soon as that order comes back down to the top. From a dig. Heck yeah, man. If you're up on roofs, you must have a good bird's eye view of checking, being able to check out some property. Mr. Tabor, so I haven't heard from anybody, and then with all this craziness going on, I don't have a whole lot of I don't have a whole lot of faith that it's going to happen, man. I think that it's going to catch on. I think that we are going to see the major players, Traxxas, Axial, they're all knocking on the door, y'all. To be honest with you, it was between Axial and Red Cat for the Cup Series this year, and the only really the only thing that happened was Red Cat jumped first. So that's pretty much the word on that, man. I think that we will see some participation with Axial, Traxxas. I think that we're going to see it. Red Cat is going. I'm going to say Red Cat will be the first one to pull the trigger on, something fitting for the series. I mean, let's be honest. They're, I don't want to give away too much, but they're getting involved for a reason. But that's Rich Trujillo. I've been in contact with him, and he understands, knows that I will come and help. But I gotta know. I can't. We have a race series to run, and amongst other things. So, let's see. Proline, yeah, Proline by the Fire. I'm open to all of these events, and I'm really torn because there's a lot of other things that I would like to be doing. I would like to get up to the Kellers to hold a race with those guys, or be involved with a race with those guys. Going to New Hampshire, potentially Canada, if we can get our schedules straightened up here between Sam Dubé and I. We did Crawlfest last year, Bounce-A-Palooza at Crawlfest, correction, not Crawlfest, Bounce-A-Palooza at Crawlapalooza. So, there's a ton of events, there's a ton of stuff, and I have people hitting me up all the time saying, "Hey, I got property, I'd love to hold a race," and I tell all of them, in whatever capacity I can help in, I will help. If I can't be there building hills with you, then I will help promote it. So that's my deal with all the races, Proline or Axial Fest. Axial Fest has 2 events now. So yeah, the RC shootout started it out, Anthony. Exactly. I mean, we had companies just throwing themselves at us, and we were. Hill 2, Run 2. Mark Crow, thanks for joining us, sir. Good to see you. That's Brian right there. Man, this dude, Brian, I tell you what, he was a character. he when I first met him, I thought he was brash. I thought he was. You see, picking a rock up and about to chuck it at his bomber. Like, but Brian did kind of the same thing Anthony Garcia did, and Brian went out and bought that bomber and built that bomber just for this, just for RC Rock Racing, and he was a huge supporter of it. Kind of reminds me of Jason Eldridge. Jason, if you're here, man, I haven't been paying attention to everybody that's joining us, but you know, just salt of the earth people, man. Whenever he would show up or I would show up or whatever, I got the biggest hug, like, you know what I mean? And me coming from a military background and having that military kind of family, you know, and then getting out and coming in and finding guys like Brian, like, you know, he saved me. He really did. He definitely motivated me to better myself, you know, and do things with this. So, very thankful. Hey, just want to say real quick, thank you for the 16, 14, 15 people that are watching right now. It really means a lot to me. Again, I'm really just doing this to hang out with y'all, man, and kind of tell my story, tell everybody else's story. Robert Tabor, again, like I said, I'm down, man, but it's gonna have to be worth it. I'm really gonna want like huge numbers going. If we go like 20 committed rock bouncer guys who are gonna go out there and do rock bouncer things and not just you know, go out and yeah, I got a wraith, and you know, I want people to represent the sport. William, yeah, the if you're still watching, man, yeah, definitely prizes draw people in. Obviously, with the way that you know, we were giving away prizes with the Texas RC Rock Racing Series, you know, and we do cash prizes and trophies with the NRRA. From a dig, bouncing funnest thing in RC going. Thanks, keep the light shining on it. Yes, sir. You know, I had a blast doing it when I was building stuff myself, and in my kitchen. I was a single soldier. I had no life, and so I turned my kitchen into my garage, and I would literally watch rock bouncing videos and weld on stuff or braze stuff, you know. William Wallace, I absolutely love RC people. I love most RC rock bouncing people. I just, if you know me, you'll know what I mean. Robert Tabor, yeah. The Pacific Northwest has a huge potential. It's kind of a sensitive topic, but I won't. I'm not gonna get into that kind of stuff here. This is just for fun, and you know, I want it to be informative. I want it to be intuitive, but you know, I just want to have some fun, man. Just think of it as like. Hanging around, sitting around the campfire after the race type of thing. Axial Fest from a dig out. You'll have to check out Axial, man. I don't know if maybe somebody in here can tell us. All right. Thank you, sir. The old bomber bouncer is going to get a makeover here. That's one of the things I have planned for this year. Not nearly as big as building a whole buggy like I'm doing with 4 or 5 of them, but so the next race, William, is going to be Bikini Bottoms, April 10th. We will see. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of faith in it. Honestly, I'm concerned about our season because if we get so many races behind, we can only fit so many more. I mean, we're already talking about rescheduling Wildcat, but if you look at the year, it's pretty quick. It's gonna go by pretty quick, and you're just trying to shove 10 pounds of shit into a 2-pound bag. It just doesn't work. I do love these hills, man, and I gotta say, if some of, and it's crazy to say that was only a year ago, a year and a half ago, but just in the technologies, just in the way that people are building buggies now, I would love to have some of the big name guys come down, race this hill, race McAllister. I mean, shoot, we could literally have, because of the support that's in San Antonio as well, as far as there is 3 hobby shops in San Antonio, 3 pretty good sized ones. The biggest of which, anyway, there's plenty of support. So what I'm getting at is, if guys are breaking stuff or if we need junk, we'll be able to have support there. Guys will be able to go and buy parts if they needed it. But I don't see why San Antonio couldn't be a dang weekend long. Maybe everybody comes in Friday night, we race all day Saturday, and then race all day Sunday, and everybody, goes home Sunday night or Monday morning. I don't see why that couldn't happen. And literally, we could race 2 days straight and not race the same hill twice. I'm not kidding. San Antonio is a great place. A great place for this kind of stuff. All right, so coming up on the last hill. Yeah, no, Rockfest. I mean, definitely. I think Rockfest is cool, but I definitely would like to go to and plan on doing Rockfest. But what I'm talking about doing is the opposite of what Rockfest is, where Rockfest is like hanging out, camping and stuff like that. And I think San Antonio is a great town. I mean, it really is. It really has a lot to offer. And with the NRRA events, I'm always driving out. I'm always getting to be in, these cool new places. But I never get to enjoy them. It's kind of like the Army, I have been all over the world, but I haven't been able to really enjoy a lot of it because most of the time I was there, I was working. So, I think that an event like I was talking about in San Antonio, and again, I'm just bench racing at this point. If we were all to link up down in San Antonio, we could do the rock racing during the day, but then we could all go out to dinner at night, or we could, go enjoy San Antonio. There's a lot of history in San Antonio. I'm a history buff. I like that stuff. I just think it would be a different kind of venue for all of us to kind of get together and hang out and, play on the rocks during the day and play in town at night. You know what I'm saying? It'd be exhausting. Mr. Ottman, thanks for joining us. Matthew Ottman, T-Mont 6 Racing. Thanks for coming in, Mr. Wallace. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate all your support. RC rock bouncing is so much quieter. It's so much quieter than rock bouncing. I got a, it's funny, I was out, I swapped an axle in the standard yesterday, and I was out just running around, make sure everything's tight and square and everything. The damn, I got a bearing going bad in my 4600 kV. And it's starting to get louder, you know, and I'm like, man, I wish this motor would never go bad and just stay this loud, because it sounds like open header, it's an open header electric motor right now. It's so loud. I like it. So again, we're on the final hill here. This is a combination of all of the hills. We go up hill 1 and back down. I think right next to hill 1, that was hill 1. So up and down, and then up hill 2, down hill 3. I think that was the finish. Hill 3 had some pretty steep cliffs. So that was Jose. He came all the way in from Houston. Bruce, and the most famous bomber raptor known to man. Robert. Okay, so if you've been keeping up, I've been breaking Metal Concepts axles. I have no idea why. I have been, when I was in Texas, I ran that Metal Concepts axle for a while, you know, a year. Never had an issue. As soon as we got the standard fixed, right out of the gate, I broke a 5mm shaft. So he was out of 5mm shafts, so I had to put in 4mm shafts, and I broke a 5mm shaft, and then another, and then another, and then another, and yesterday it was just, that was it. I wasn't even rock bouncing. I was out doing donuts on dirt, loose dirt, P-rock type terrain. It shouldn't have. I didn't hit anything. It shouldn't have happened. So I don't know what is going on. I don't know if I got a bad batch of axles. I don't know. I don't know if it's the axle slop. I did have a ton of play in the locker, and I ordered another locker. I have a locker in the mail right now. This is Ben Hume here on the final hill. So I just decided yesterday, I'm like, no, I'm over it. So no, not bashing, man. That's the thing, is I was just out playing, you know. These things sit on the damn shelf, and now that I'm not going to Kentucky next week, I just wanted to go out and play, and I don't have any real rocky terrain or anything like right here in the house, and I was just kind of working from the garage, you know. I was just out playing in the yard and snapped an axle, man. I was so mad. I got that locker in the mail. Like, I was planning on swapping out the lockers, and hopefully that getting rid of that play, you know, would have taken care of that. But so anyway, I had an SSD diamond housing. One of the holes for the lower shock, or the lower link mounts, was stripped out. So I cleaned that up, rethreaded it, used a bigger bolt, got everything to fit right. I had to extend, I had to build new upper links. Did change the link geometry a little bit, but you know, that's racing, I guess. So we're sticking with the Vanquish housing up front, with the RCVs and all incision parts, and now we're running an SSD dyno in the rear. So I'm not saying that I'm going to stick with that. That housing, again, has seen better days. I don't trust the fact that I want to make sure that it's going to be setting the standard. Where's John Wright?
You got
Where's
that.
Jonathan Wright? These guys, sponsors you see up on the side there, please subscribe. Please follow these guys. I always say support those who support us, man. These guys have our back. John from Black Dog Photography, Dylan at D-Patch Photography, and Charles at High Octane Films, man. They've been, such good friends and support me 110% in everything that I do. They give me positive feedback, and they have badass products. I mean, if you're into rock bouncing and you're following any rock bouncing, if you're seeing a picture, it's probably going to be from Jonathan Wright or Dylan Patton. And then as far as coverage goes, I mean, who doesn't... before I was really racing, I would sit by the computer chomping at the bit to waiting for the coverage from the race that weekend, and Charles Carris from High Octane Films is always the first one to get it out, so so that's it. Where do we go here? We're already live streaming for a minute now. Yeah, if we can get him to a race, he was supposed to be a Wildcat. All right, y'all. Chris, yeah, no, I know Dylan's a busy guy. Dylan, all of them are. They're covering, all of rock racing in the southeast there, man. So, all right. Anything else, y'all? This is great. I appreciate it. Trying to see. We've been going for almost 40 minutes now, so I'm gonna cut this off. I hope y'all have a great weekend. This was unannounced, really. I know I'm gonna probably do more of that, especially if something catches my eye. I was watching the footage from Texas a couple of days ago, and I knew that I wanted to get it out, and it was a really quiet morning here, so I just decided to go live. But I'm gonna keep putting videos up that I want to watch. If y'all want to watch something, man, please message me, comment, let me know. So, let's see. I've been rocking one for 2 seasons. Amazon special front housing. Here's the deal. What I don't like about those housings, and correct me, Sean, if I'm wrong about this. I don't like through bolt designs. When I first got into this stuff, I upgraded to a bigger axle shaft, and I had to trim the thread on the through bolt so it would clear, and I don't like doing that. I feel it takes away from the strength of the hardware, and then there is potential, if there is any sort of play, that it's going to rub through and break axle shafts. So I don't like the through bolts. So if we could get those Vanquish housings, the version 2s that don't have that through bolt housing, and somebody from China starts machining those, dude, I'll buy those by the caseload. No doubt about it. But the only thing that would make me try those out is if they are legit metal housings that I can weld to. If I can TIG weld and build my own trusses and link mounts too, to be able to play with link geometry and stuff, then I'm all for it. Other than that, I'm going to have to learn how to weld aluminum. So Justin Hoback, if you're watching, might be showing up for some welding lessons. But, alright y'all, that is it. I am going to sign off. I will see all y'all very soon. That's good to know, Sean. That's good. Alright y'all.